UPSC CSE, State Public Service Commission, SSC Combined Graduate Level Exam, and also the CLAT examination. So do visit AKS IAS Academy and also the website of AKS IAS Academy. About me, I am Sandeep Bhushan Tumala, and my credentials are: I have 10 years of teaching experience for civil services. I teach international relations, internal security, and the analysis of the Hindu newspaper. And this session will certainly help you to crack prelims and mains examinations, because throughout my session I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases, which will be very useful for you to identify the factual, analytical and conceptual questions from the daily news analysis. So the most important thing what you need to get into the mode is emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases, because you would be getting into the mode of identifying factual, analytical and conceptual questions for the preliminary examination. So you will be certainly benefited by this session in regards to prelims and also in regards to mains, because in regards to mains, what is very important or the key for your success is the answer writing. So definitely your answer writing in the mains has to be precise and concise, and once your answers in the mains are precise and concise, so you would score higher marks. But provided your answers can be precise and concise only when you have the habit of inculcating the keywords and the key phrases in your answer writing, so that your answers could be precise and concise and you will score higher marks in the mains examination. Therefore, my session, that is AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis, will certainly help you having an edge over others in the prelims as well as mains for 2020 as well as 2021. And this is in regards to the daily news analysis. We would go ahead with the daily news analysis, that is today's, that is 9th of September 2020, and I would reiterate my tagline, that is emphasizing on the keywords and key phrases. So please do understand these keywords and the key phrases. And before we get into the topic, the quote of the day, we will look at the quote of the day, and the quote of the day is: you are not here to be average. You are not here to be average. You are here to be awesome. That is excellent. So definitely have in your mind excellent, outstanding, but never try to even get into your mind the word that is average. So you are not here for being or to be an average, but you are here to be an awesome, that is excellent, superb. And before I get into the daily news analysis from the Hindu newspaper, I would say a very good morning to all who are in the live and also in the live chat. And my humble request is, the one who is in the live and not part of the live chat, please do try to be part of the live chat also. And I would say a warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy for daily news analysis, that is D. Suvarna, Harika Yadav, Praveen Kumar, Surya Suresh, Praveen Kumar again, Venkatesh, Ramesh Aluwala, Madhavan, Ghera, Richi, Bhanu, all of you, a warm welcome to you all to AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis. Anvesh has also joined. A warm welcome to you, Anvesh. Om Shri Krishna, Shivamutri. All of you, a warm welcome to you to AKS IAS Academy. And now I would start up the daily news analysis. Mahender, very good morning to you. and the news which is in regards to shots fired at LAC. So we have been looking at this news since May. Since May, that is the face off or skirmish, the face off or skirmish or standoff between India and China, between India and China along the LAC since May, and this is September. This month is September. So we have seen right from May, and again on June 15 we have seen 20 Indian brave soldiers who have been martyred, and we have seen that different levels of talks which have been taking up between both the countries in regards to the military and also in regards to the diplomatic and special representatives. But in spite of all this, still we can see that the PLA, that is People's Liberation Army, that is Chinese troop, is still trying to or making an attempt repeatedly when there is simultaneously a talks going on between India and China at different levels, but still the PLA is trying to get into India, that is Indian territory along the LAC. So on these sidelines there were shots fired at LAC. So this situation or the shots which have been fired along the LAC will definitely dampen the hopes or the situation in regards to that our external affairs minister and the foreign minister of China are discussing or would have a talk on the sidelines of the SCORE summit, that is in regards to the external affairs and the defense ministers ministerial level talks which are going on in Russia. So there could be a possibility there would be breakthrough, actually expected one, but because of the shots which were fired on September 7th, 2020, so there is a possibility that the hopes are very dim between the talks, external affairs ministers between India and the foreign minister, that is from China, Wang Yi, and then Jaishankar talks in Russia would not be much of the result because of the shots fired by the Chinese or the PLA in the Pangong Tso Lake and also Shenpoi mountain area. So these are the two areas, that is Pangong Tso Lake and the Shenpoi mountain areas. These areas they started firing, and this is a really cause of concern because there is the face-to-face situation which is going on between India and China, that is a face-off or the standoff between India and China. But still the talks are going on, but there is no hope, or the dim chances, or the hopes are very dim in regards to breakthrough or disengagement or de-escalation. These are the two words: disengagement, because all the talks are in regards to the disengagement and de-escalation of the tension between India and China along the LAC. So what is that we can surely understand, that is one side the talks are going on and the other side definitely the PLA is marching or getting into the Indian territory, and the SCORE summit, that is Shanghai Cooperation Organization, that is 8 nation, this summit will take place in October. Please do understand, SCORE summit will take place in October, but now ministerial level talks are going on. Ministerial level talks. So from India, it was defense minister and then external affairs minister have been to Moscow, Russia, to have the ministerial level talks, and the SCORE summit will take place possibly in the month of October 2020. So do not get confused with this meeting or the summit meetings which are going on. So these meetings are in regards to ministerial levels. From India, defense minister and external affairs ministers have been in Moscow, and external affairs minister will definitely have the meeting with the foreign minister of Wang Yi, and the main summit of the SCORE will take place in October. Saida Nayak, Gopi Nayak, warm welcome to you. Gudla Mahinder, also warm welcome to you. And if you look at this shots, firearm shots, that is when we are talking about shots, it is the PLA has used the firearms. Firearms were used by People's Liberation Army. And if you look at the firearms which have been used for the first time since 1975. So it was the last time when the firearms were used by the People's Liberation Army against Indian troops was in the year 1975. That was in Arunachal Pradesh. That was in Arunachal Pradesh. And the first time since, if you look at Ladakh, because now the LAC wherein we are having the skirmish or the shots which were fired is in Mukpari area. Mukpari area is the one wherein again they have come up. The Chinese troops have come up with various bounders or a kind of rods wherein they have come onto the Indian side, that is South Bank. Firing of arms have taken place at this place, that is Pyongyang So Lake. They have just gone ahead with firing and then they left, intimidating Indian troops. Intimidating. It was a sign of intimidating. The gunshots fired were a sign of intimidating at Pyongyang So and Shenpo Mountain. But we have seen again the Chinese troops have attempted to get into the Mukpari area between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. on September 7th. And if you come back to the firearms or the shots which were fired was in the year 1975 along the LAC in Arunachal Pradesh. If you look at the LAC, now the shots which were fired is in Ladakh region. So the last time which the shots were fired by the PLA was in the year 1962. That is in the year 1962 war between India and China. So 1975, 1962, 1975 Arunachal Pradesh, 1962 now Ladakh region. And the talks, the foreign ministry level or external affairs ministry level talks are definitely making sure that they wanted to move further, that disengagement and de-escalation take place between both the countries. But probably it may not yield in a positive way. But we expect that it would be in a successful manner, that the disengagement and de-escalation between both the countries are in a positive note. And the next time when the External Affairs Minister from India and the Foreign Minister from China, his counterpart, would meet is next time in the G20 summit, which will be held in November. So it will be in the month of October again, that is, as I said, the SCO summit, and in the month of November it would be the G20 summit. So the next time again when the Indian External Affairs Minister and the Chinese counterpart would get the chance to meet and then discuss, if the de-escalation and disengagement do not take place, would be in the summit which is G20 summit. So please do understand the importance that the shots when it was fired earlier was 1975 in Arunachal Pradesh, and shots which were fired in Ladakh was in 1962. So here we can see the Galwan Valley, as I have explained many a times, but again for your benefit, this is Hot Spring, this is Pyongyang Lake. So this area Pyongyang So Lake. So this is area now again the tensions are being prevailed between India and China. Earlier we have seen on June 15th at the midnight, the 20 brave Indian soldiers were killed in the Galwan Valley or Hot Spring area, this area. So this is Pyongyang So Lake. So we will look at the area where the Chinese have entered into the Indian territory, that is Mukpari area, this area, which is Indian. You can see the Indian flag here, Mukpari. And I have also said couple of days back, they have come to the south of Spangur Lake. I said so. We have discussed this, that they have Chinese troops or the PLA have come south of Spangur Lake. So this is Spangur Lake. and you can see this Pyongyang Lake here. So they have crossed the Pyongyang Lake and then they have come from the other side, Spangur Lake, and further they have come here. I said Resangla. I have shown this also, Resangla. So Resangla, Mukpari and Gurung Hills are on the side of Indian territory along the border. Indian territory. They are on the Indian territory. So this is the LAC. This is LAC, line of actual control. So they have come to the Mukpari, Resangla, and Gurung Hill is still A2. So there is very clear that PLA or the Chinese troops are further entering into the Indian territory. So in spite of different level talks going on at one side, simultaneously PLA is going ahead with a strategic move, and then they are getting into the Indian territory each and every time at different places. We have seen at Galwan Valley, we have seen at recently Galwan Valley, and then again in the Depsang Plains, and also in the Chuzul sector, and now at the Pyongyang Lake, Pyongyang So Lake, and now again at Mukpari, that is Spangur Lake, south of Spangur Lake. And in the past also we have seen in the Doklam area or Doklam Dry Junction, Doklam area. So strategically they pick up the areas and then they try to get into the Indian territory, making it very clear that later on when they accept to move away from the move back, they will definitely focus on status quo. That is, at that particular time where they are, so that will be considered as LAC. So they are all worried about the status quo, and India says that status quo, we will definitely follow the status quo before April 2020. Nothing more about, after April 2020. So I hope this is very, very useful for you in regards to the image pictorial representation. Mukpari, Resangla, Gurung Hills, Moldo. Moldo is at the Moldo. This Moldo is the Chinese side. You can see it, Chinese flag. You can see Indian flags here, Gurung Hill, Mukpari and Resangla. You have another report that is in regards to the NSO report shows stark digital divide effects on education. So the keyword here, what you need to really focus is digital divide effects on education or during COVID-19 pandemic situation. During COVID-19 pandemic situation. So the keyword is digital divide. And who has come up with this report? It is NSO report. So what is NSO? It is National Statistical Organization which has come up. It takes up a survey, and that survey they have come up with a report. And what does it says? Yes, there is certainly digital divide, and I have used this keyword n number of times in regards to the digital divide. So there is a lack now, or there is that the digital infrastructure is not up to the mark. Digital infrastructure is not up to the mark. Digital divide, what? When we are talking about divide, it is divide between urban India and rural India. Urban India and rural India. So it is a divide between the urban India and rural India. What kind of divide it is? It is digital divide. Digital divide. So the National Statistical Organization has surveyed has gone ahead and they have mentioned about this stark that the digital divide in regards to the states, cities and villages and income groups. So there is a digital divide across states, cities, Villages and income groups. Please do understand this keyword. No doubt you are familiar with states, cities and villages. Yes, there is digital divide in regards to the not much of infrastructure which is parallel or which is balanced across the country, length and breadth of the country. But what is the other keyword here is income group. So there is a digital divide even in the income group, and that digital divide in the income group would affect the education. This could be the probable question for the mains. The digital divide not only in the states, cities and villages, but the digital divide in the income groups would certainly affect the education system in India during the post-COVID-19 pandemic situation or during the COVID-19 pandemic situation. And the survey, it is a survey on household social consumptions related to education. So the survey is in regards to the household social consumptions which are related to education. So it is on education, but the survey is on the household social consumption. So that is based on what? Again, income groups. Income groups, what it will impact, that is in regards to the how the family is able to be part of the basic digital literacy, how the family is able to be part of the basic digital literacy in India. So therefore the survey is on the household social consumptions related to education, and this survey is the 75th round. And what does it says? The report says is 20% of Indians above the age 5 years had basic digital literacy. So who has the basic digital literacy in India? That is only if we look at the greater than 5 years, only 20% are the one who have the access to the basic digital literacy. And when we look at the in regards to the age group of 15 to 29 years, in the age group of 15 to 29 years, only 40% have the access to the basic digital literacy. Basic digital literacy. Here it is not just literacy, please do understand. Here it is basic digital literacy. You can take this, you can write this keyword in your notes. Basic digital literacy. And across India, if you look at as per the NSO data, 1 in 10 households have computers. So out of 10, only one has the computer, whether it could be desktop, laptop or tablet. So out of 10, only one has the computer. In the households you have the computer. So it is very clear that there is certainly digital divide. And this digital divide might affect the education during the pandemic or post-pandemic education because of the digital literacy, because of the digital infrastructure. And the survey is on the household social consumptions related to education. Household social consumptions related to education, National Statistical Organization, digital divide, and then basic digital literacy. These are the keywords you need to focus. And if you look at one quarter of all the homes have the access to internet. So the quarter, only almost a quarter of all the homes have the access to the internet facilities. So it could be a mobile network using device or smartphones also. And if you look at the internet enabled homes, so the homes which are with internet, which are in the cities, are only just 42%. So the internet enabled citizens located in the cities are only 42%. They have the internet access. And if you look at the rural India, and if you look at the national capital, we will focus that. Rural India, it is only 15% you have the internet, that is internet enabled homes. In the rural India, it is only 15%. And if you look at the internet access to the national capital, it is 55%. So you have to focus in regards to the cities
rural India and national capital. So across the cities, 42%, rural India 15%, national capital it is 55%. And definitely because of this digital divide, the center has directed the state educational departments. The center has directed the state educational departments that to make sure that the infrastructure, that is in regards to the digital infrastructure in providing the online access to the students, have to be mapped, have to be increased, have to be adequately planned so that the curriculum and the teaching methods can reach the students. Please do understand. So what is very important is in regards to the infrastructure development or digital infrastructure. Digital infrastructure has to be connecting or mapping all the students so that the curriculum and the teaching methods should reach all the students across India. Why there is a focus I'm making it? Because yesterday we have looked at in the governors conference, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has made a pitch in regards to the education policy, and he said that education policy, in the education policy, the government of India should have a minimal interference, should have a minimal interference. So when we are talking about the minimum interference in the education policy, and now because of the online classes, it is very important that the center and the state education departments have to come together and then make sure that they improve the infrastructure, that is digital infrastructure, and lessen the gap between the digital divide between the urban India and then the rural India, and also to the villages, and also the low income group people, so that it will not have a negative impact on the education because of the digital divide during COVID-19 pandemic situation or post COVID-19 pandemic situation. And the digital literacy is likely to grow during the pandemic. Please do understand. We were talking about the basic digital literacy. So definitely the digital literacy is likely to grow during the pandemic, because as there is no alternative, and the people and the students and the parents and the students are definitely wanting to get into the mode of the teaching methodology or teachings, that they should not lose the teaching which the schools are taking up. So definitely the online process of digital literacy is growing, but there are concerns about basic literacy, because basic literacy, when we are talking about, we have celebrated, in the world has celebrated on September 8th as the International Literacy Day. So when the digital literacy is growing, but we need to be also concerned about basic literacy, not basic digital literacy, basic literacy, because International Literacy Day has or is been celebrated on September 8th each year, and this is again very important for Prem's point of view. Which among the following? So one of the statement could be September 8th celebrated as International Literacy Day. True or false? And as per the NSO survey, 1 in 5 Indians above 7 years. We did talk about above 5 years. We did talk about from 15 to 29 years. And now the data which the survey is talking about is above 7 years. 1 in 5 Indians, 1 in 5 Indians cannot read and write any language. Cannot read and write any language. Look at the pathetic situation. And we talk about International Literacy Day, we celebrate, and the basic literacy. We are also talking about the basic digital literacy, and the literacy rate have increased, no doubt has increased from 71.7% to 77.7%. This data is important. Please do record, and then every time try to, whenever there is a census been taken up, so you have to follow it or update it. The literacy rates 70.7% to 77.7%, and that too it has gained. Why? Because of the rural women's, rural women's, from 71.7% the literacy rate has been increased to 77.7%. And if you look at the lowest literacy rate in India, which is the state, is Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh has the country's lowest literacy rate with what? 66.4 percentage. This again, if anyone is going ahead with the state public service commissions in the Telugu speaking states, you can take this. You can take this as the information in regards to literacy rate, wherein which is been in the survey, the data released by NSO. The data released by NSO. So after Andhra Pradesh, the least developed state is Chhattisgarh, followed by Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Bihar has attained 70.9 percentage. And if you look at the top, that is best literacy rate is Kerala. With 96.2 percentage of literacy, and followed by next is Delhi with 88.7 percentage, Uttarakhand 87.6 percentage, followed by Himachal Pradesh. So these, the last two, please do take it into consideration, and you have to focus this, because at least in the interview, if you are going, if it is asked based on the digital divide, a question, and then lowest literacy rate, if there is a question, then you need to know these statistics. So this is an useful information in regards to the literacy rate, digital literacy, and then international literacy rate, basic literacy, and then again in regards to the international literacy day celebrated on September 8th. And Srikanth Yadav has joined, Prithvi Raju has joined. A warm welcome to both of you to AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis. And there is another news which talks about China celebrates success in virus fight. So definitely China is celebrating success in fighting against virus. So it has celebrated, or it is celebrating in regards to fighting virus. So when the entire world or the many or maximum countries in the world are still fighting to overcome the virus, China is celebrating this success of fighting virus. So this, the President Xi Jinping has said, or he has said that it is an extraordinary historic test. So there was a session or a ceremony which has been conducted, and it was an award ceremony for medical professionals. So during the award ceremony of the medical professionals, Chinese President Xi Jinping has said that this having success over fighting against SARS-CoV-2 virus is an extraordinary and historic test. And he also said that China is the leading in the economic recovery in the world. So if you look at, he says that it is the leading economic recovery country in the world itself to fight against COVID-19. So definitely he is trying to project that China is leading, and he is the global leader who has come forward and then moving the country, that is China, in a path wherein they have succeeded in fighting against virus. Not only fighting against virus, but they have succeeded even in economic recovery. These two keywords are very important. So fighting over economic recovery and fighting over virus. And this is the celebrations which they have taken up. As billions of people across the world still suffer, and the global death across the world, if you look at is 9 lakhs deaths, or 9 lakhs. So when the world is still striving very hard to overcome it, China is celebrating, fighting against virus, and then overcoming the economic, or fighting against, or success in regards to economic recovery. Because we have seen, especially Europe is still reeling under to overcome the SARS-CoV-2 infection. We can see France, Britain, Spain, Italy, all these countries are definitely fighting because they wanted to make sure that they focus on economy and also the lives. In the midst of this, they are unable to overcome it because of the resurgence of COVID-19 across Europe. But China is celebrating at the awards ceremony for medical professionals. And Xi Jinping states it is an extraordinary and historic test, a triumph, a victory, a success against virus, and success in regards to economic recovery. And if you look at the worldwide infections, it is 27 millions. Worldwide infections, it is 27 millions. And we were talking about worldwide death cases, it is 90,000, sorry, 9 lakhs. 9 lakhs. So almost it is 8 lakhs 90,000. And they say that China has been in a position to vanish or been a success to fight against the virus, is they say because of the combination of lockdowns and travel restrictions. And Beijing or China or Xi Jinping is definitely trying to prove himself as a global leadership and global resilience by coming up with the progress in regards to the vaccine. So definitely China, and now again what we have also looked at is Russia. Both are definitely moving forward in regards to the vaccine for SARS-CoV-2 and then projecting that they are the global leaders. Azmat Khan has joined. A warm welcome to you, Azmat Khan. And as I said, Europe is suffering. Yes, France is there, Spain is there, Morocco is there. All these countries are suffering a lot. And that is, we are seeing the resurgence of COVID-19 or SARS-CoV-2 virus. So definitely Spain, as we have seen, France, Spain, Italy, Morocco, all these countries were badly hit, and now again the resurgence of COVID-19 is taking place. And when the Europe is reeling under infection and deaths wherein it is surging, China is celebrating. And the other news is GDP to shrink to 14.8%. Who is saying this? Goldman Sachs. So who is Goldman Sachs? So they are American brokerage. And this American brokerage company, that is Goldman Sachs, has put forth in regards to the Indian economy, and our Indian economy, as per the Goldman Sachs, it says it will be the worst hit among major economies. It will be the worst hit among the major economies because of the contraction which it is forecasting for the financial year 2021 of 14.8%. The Indian economy will shrink to further 14.8%, minus 14.8, it will be contraction, minus. So that is a cause of concern, and it will be the worst hit among the major economies in the world. In the world, if you look at earlier itself, now it says 14.8, but earlier when it has estimated, so earlier estimates by the Goldman Sachs was that India's economy will be shrinking or contracting, not a 14.8% is what is being mentioned in today's news, but earlier estimates has said it will shrink to 11.8 percentage. 11.8 percentage. So look at it. Look at it. If you look at earlier estimates 11.8, now the recent estimates 14.8, that means Indian economy is certainly shrinking and it is getting into a negative bad phase. These estimates has come, which estimates, that is 14.8 estimates have come because of the official data which has shown that India's economy, official data in India which has shown that Indian economy will shrink to 23.9 percentage minus, and I did explain this last couple of days back. I did talk about this, that the India's economy will shrink to minus 23.9 percentage, and I said it will recoup or it will bounce back after 6 quarters. I said after 6 quarters, that is in the mid of 2021. In the mid of 2021 itself, we will certainly what again improve, or India will get into the mode of improving its economy. Till then it will be a dip, shrink, contraction. And what India has come up is for June 2020, 23.9 percentage for June quarter. And all the sectors, I said all the sectors have been badly, but only one sector which hasn't seen contraction or it has seen positiveness is agriculture sector. And further, this we are talking about June, and further in regards to the September, the economy will shrink to 13.7 percentage and 9.8 percentage in regards to the December. This is this year. But if you look at last year, India's economy during September was 10.7 percentage minus and then 6.7 percentage. That means look at it, it is increasing. This is earlier, that is 2019-20. This is 2020-21. This September 13.7 percentage minus, and then December minus. So it will progress. But compared to last year, it was 10.7 percentage during the September quarter, and December quarter it was minus 6.7. So for definitely Indian economy at this time is shrinking a lot, and the GDP, the Goldman Sachs, it is estimating our GDP will fall by 11.1 percentage. 11.1 percentage in 2020, and 2021 it will be 14.8 percentage. In 2020 our GDP will be 11.1 percentage. In 2021 it will be 14.8 percentage fall. That means definitely economy is contracting. India's economy is contracting as per the report estimated by Goldman Sachs. So I said in the past also, all the rating agencies or if you look at RBI, World Bank, IMF, World Economic Forum, OECD, all these when they come up with the reports, I said please do focus these reports, and part of this also is now Goldman Sachs. And then Raja Dilip has joined, MNRSNG has also joined. A warm welcome to both of you to AKSIS Academy Daily News Analysis. And there is one more news in regards to economy, that is here we are talking about not just Indian economy. Earlier we did talk about only Indian economy or the GDP, but here it is in regards to the global economy because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation and because of the global supply chain system which was badly hit, imports and exports, thereby the economy of major countries have been contracted, and that is the amount, I mean that is what it is being said, that is now global economy is to contract by 4.4 percentage. 4.4 percentage. So who is saying this? The global economy will shrink to minus 4.4 percentage. It is Fitch rating. So as I said, all the rating agencies. So rating agencies. So we have various rating agencies. So as per the Fitch rating agency, it says that the global economy will shrink to minus or 4.4 percentage in the current years. But if we look at China's growth, it is upward plus 2.7 percentage in the year 2020, 2.7 percentage. And if you look at India's growth, it is minus 10.5 percentage. Projection to minus 10.5 percentage. From earlier it was 5 percentage. So look at the economy is Indian economy or India's growth projection is very bad. Earlier it was minus 5 percentage. Now it is minus 10.5 percentage. But when we compare with China, China is plus 2.7 percentage. And if we compare with US is minus 4.6 percentage. Minus 4.6 percentage. Look at it. The way, that is why China has gone ahead with celebrations. China has gone ahead with celebrations. That is the most important thing. That is a cause of concern, that when the entire world is definitely moving further, how to handle the infection cases and the death cases, but China is celebrating the success over virus and success in regards to economic recovery. That is why the success of economic recovery states that the economic growth of China for 2020 is estimated of 2.7 percentage. Upward plus. India minus 10.5. US contract minus 4.6. And revise China's GDP, if you look at, now it is, as we discussed, it is 2.7 percentage. Earlier data was saying it would be 1.2 percentage. That means there is economic recovery. There is economic recovery. Where? In China. Certainly. That is why from 1.2 percentage in June, now it is to 2.7 percentage. Now they are forecasting for the year 2020. So now in September, when they forecasted, it is plus 2.7, and in June it was plus 1.2. So definitely it is a positive for China's economy, and definitely their economy, the economy is recovering because they are investing. They are going ahead with the investments, housing and exports. They are concentrating on the investments. They are concentrating on housing. They are concentrating on the exports. That is why global economy is contracting, but China's growth is positively. It is moving further. So this is what we have focused, and this is the recapitulate of the DNA. So we have looked at, this is in regards to the India, China, again in regards to the international relations or the skirmish between LAC. We got shots were fired, and then we did discuss about SCO ministerial level talks. This is important. SCO ministerial level talks at the SCO summit.
Defense and External Affairs Ministry. And the NSO report, we did discuss about the digital divide. So digital divides in states, cities, villages and income group people. And we did discuss about basic digital literacy and then basic literacy also, and literacy rates also. Various states, we have compared it various states. So that is important for or useful for you in regards to the preliminary examination point of view. And China's economy, so they are celebrating the economic recovery. And then this is in regards to the India's GDP is shrinking. And when the global economy is shrinking, China's economy is upward trend. Why there? Because they are focused on the investments, they are focused on tourism, so and the exports. So that is why it is progressing. And I hope this session was informative, knowledgeable session, and which will be very useful for you in regards to the prelims as well as mains examinations. So therefore, I would say it would be an added advantage, and you would certainly have an edge over others in regards to prelims and mains examination. And I would say a very big thank you to you all and a good luck to you all. And please do not forget to like the video before you sign off, and then share the video. Oh, Assam Rifles, what is that? Harika Yadav, warm welcome to you. In regards to what? The news which you are saying Assam Rifles is in regards to which topic? And then do subscribe the AKS IAS English channel also, and then do visit the website of AKS IAS Academy, and also do subscribe the Telegram link of AKS IAS Academy. Harika Yadav, please let me know what is that you wanted to know in regards. Okay. Fine. I'll take up. Because related topic, whenever it is there, I will take up. Nothing to worry. Sure. So, in regards to the daily news analysis, again, I will see you tomorrow at 7:30 AM. And I would repeat daily, that is in regards to maintain consistency in regards to your examination. Do follow the schedule for your examination, or stick to the schedule, and then do take care. Please do take care of your health, or personal health and mental health. And then see you tomorrow at 7:30 AM for the daily news analysis. And I would say a very big thank you to all, and all the best for your examination. Thank you all, and do not forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe the video for further notification in regards to the AKS IAS Academy daily news analysis. Thank you very much.